Button. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match shortcut show on the internet. We've just come back, left, and come back in again at the London Stadium, where, unfortunately, we lost. We lost the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, and we're not going to Wembley. But, boys, I couldn't be more deflated today. I really couldn't. I woke up this morning, I was feeling absolutely terrible.
Yeah, same, mate. Said when me and Dan done the reaction yesterday, it's like we had to talk about 3 different games in one because it just seemed to go on and on and on. Yeah, I'm gutted. I'm disappointed. You know, it was a huge chance for us, not only the players but the fans, to get a day out of Wembley in the semi-final against, well, it looks like Chelsea now. It's been a London derby under the arch of Wembley. Yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame, but we've only got ourselves to blame. Look, people are blaming Nuno for the team selection. How do we know that he selected that team? Maybe Sullivan's told him, play a weak team because the Premier League's more important. And unfortunately, if that is the case, then Nuno's weak. Because if I was a manager, I wouldn't be listening to the owners. I'd just be doing what I want to do. I want a FA Cup on my CV. I want so yeah, it's disappointing. I'm a bit frustrated still.
The thing is, he has got the lineup wrong, because the lineup he put out in the second half was much better. The team he put out in the second half when he made those changes, and you just think, well, why didn't he just start with that team? You know, Souček has been a player that has been sort of key in the starting 11 for us, like the past few months, and obviously Pablo, which again I'm frustrated with. He gets his penalty and all of that stuff, but his all-round play. It's been a key part of the sort of new revival of West Ham since we signed him and Tay. So I don't know why he did that. Like, I like Magassa, I like Potts. I don't want to see them two playing together. I just don't think they can play together, and chucking them in like that, I think was a disaster.
I think it's madness. I think I don't believe it. I don't believe that them players were injured. I don't believe that they couldn't feature. I couldn't believe it. There's not. We've had barely any injuries all season, and you come down to this last 7 games, and all of a sudden we've got 7 injuries. I just don't believe that was the case, you know. And I think a lot of people don't believe that that's the case. And I think Ryan is absolutely right. If he's been told that he must leave these players out because we need these for the Premier League, and I said this morning, the game is about glory. And I'm going to be totally blatantly honest with you now, right? The windows for clubs like us to win trophies is getting smaller by the fucking day. It's not just the fact that this club has been run into the ground, but it's the fact that the way football is going, it is more and more pushed towards making these top 6 successful. You've got a rule coming in next year that basically will stop anybody that don't make revenue from competing. That's simple as that. They're going to be playing. You know, we're seeing it already. You know, and you see the likes of Man City. You know, it's gonna favour them. So when you get into this position, listen, there's always going to be times when clubs falter. But you saw Arsenal yesterday. Arsenal got spanked on the bum for fielding a weakened team against the Championship side. Arsenal were top of this Premier League. We should have learnt the lesson from that. He should have looked at that and he should have went, right, this is our chance, right? You've got the top team that are out, yeah? You've got Southampton. You've got a chance to have Southampton in the semi-final, yeah? He must have just thought to himself, look, we're at home. You know, we cannot defend for our lives. We can't. When there's certain defenders not available, you got to play on the front foot. Every time we've had a good performance in this season, it's been when we've been on the front foot. And he set up defensively. He set up with a midfield that has proven it can't compete. In fact, it looked like he was experimenting again, which is, I think, at this stage of the season, is fucking mental. You know, especially with a game this important. And as I said before, you know, the game is about glory. And unfortunately for us fans, right, this is the only chance of glory we get. We don't get to go out and put the boots on. We don't get to get out and go out there on the field. We're not good enough, right? And it's simple as that. We're not good enough. If we was good enough, we'd be playing. But when do you get these chances now? Because all it seems to be pushed towards is the money, And listen,
I get what you're saying there, but last season Newcastle won the League Cup and Palace won the FA Cup.
yeah,
So
but the window's closing, right? Window's closing. This
I
window's
don't
closing.
think it is. I don't think the window's closing. I think that like teams like us yesterday, we blew our chance, but there's no reason why Leeds can't go on and win the FA Cup. So I don't think it's blown the chances. But the disappointing thing for me is that I understand. Look, I do understand that there has to be one eye on Friday night in the Premier League, but if you are resting them players, put them on the bench. Put them on the bench. Because it proved it when we brought on Souček and Pablo. It did make a huge difference in the second half. If we'd have had a Callum Wilson on the bench yesterday, if he's not injured, I mean, I don't know. We don't know if he's injured or not, but the way he was jumping around on the bench, laughing and joking, I don't think he's injured. So, to rest so many players was a huge gamble, and it hasn't paid off.
I don't know. Again, maybe there's some players he did rest. Obviously, Somerville, he's been injured, so he was unsure of him. So I think he's probably thought, it's a step too far. Wilson isn't a regular starter anyway, so it's not like, we better rest Wilson, because if Wilson gets injured, we're in big trouble, because he doesn't play that much under Nuno anyway. I know Wan-Bissaka did come back late he played Jamaica in the qualifier.
Wan-Bissaka was late back because he was celebrating.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, and that's on Wan-Bissaka.
I mean, that's ridiculous. Play for your country. You've qualified for the World Cup, then fly straight back home and be ready to play for your team. We're the ones that pay his wages.
So that's on him. That's on Wan-Bissaka. And then you got Mavropanos, which is the other one. Obviously, I think he played for. Did he play for Greece?
Mavropanos. I was reading earlier. Mavropanos picked up an injury playing for Greece the other day, so that might be why he missed out. But apparently, he's going to be okay for Friday.
So then I'm not sure which players that you can say Nuno's gone. Now we'll save them for the league, because he could have done that with Bowen, who he started. Disasi has been and we'll get into him, a massively key player for him, and he started. So
Tadibo is been training. Somerville's been training. But Somerville's been maybe he could have chucked him in, maybe he could have been, but we said ourselves, if he's not 100%, don't play him. We all said it on Friday night. I don't believe it. They'll all be ready Friday. I guarantee you, all 7 of them players will be back Friday.
No, but
thing is, as well, we didn't really need Somerville yesterday, because I think Traore played well. It wasn't.
Yeah, great
Somerville would have been a risk, because he has been out for a few weeks, and we don't know how fit he's going to be. Look, I hope he's fit for Friday. Really good.
I was just saying, KWP had a decent game. The big loss was Tadibo or Mavropanos. We have one of them, and we don't have Kilman in the. That's the loss, right? That's what's cost us the game, having Kilman for that penalty. Because I know it's not all on Kilman, because he was okay, like we said, but that penalty, maybe if we don't concede that penalty and it's 1-0, we go in and we win 2-1, or. That's what's cost us, not having or maybe we don't concede the other goal as well if we have a Mavropanos, because he's been brilliant. That's the loss.
Yeah, I mean, look, as we said yesterday, mate, their first goal, Tanaka, was great footwork. He sold the defender, and it is a deflection, but look, it was a good goal, and you said as for their second with a penalty, it's a blatant penalty. You can't defend it. It's a stonewall penalty. And Calvert-Lewin scores, and you think to yourself, you know what, 2-0 down, that's it, game over. Then, as I said, and someone had a go at me in the comments yesterday saying I'm in the wrong. Leeds were the better team up until that scoreboard went up, with the 11 minutes. They were the better team, and they deserved it in the 90 minutes. But then after that, once we got our first goal, we were the better team. We were the better team in extra time as well, and we should have won it. We done enough to win it. 2 offsides, one very tight, Tatty's one especially. He was offside, but it was close.
He was constantly offside.
Yeah, that's his problem. I mean, he throws his hands up in the air moaning at the linesman all the time. Maybe he should work on his game a bit more better. than
I know
than
it was
staying off
it
post.
was so blatantly offside. I remember watching it, and I'm like, "Why are you doing your nut?" Like,
I think he might be trying to break. I think he might be trying to break Freddie Canute's record for when he used to play.
Remember that one?
He used
Yeah.
to be offside all the time. But yeah, no. And look, Tatty works hard, but you know, when you look back at that chance, I know he got a little nudge in the back, and it might have put him off. But he's got to finish that header. He's got to finish that header because then that makes it 1-1. And then who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the game.
We go on and win it from now. We go on and win it from 1-1. It's an easy chance. He's got to score. He's got to score. There's no excuses. He's got to score. He's stupid down.
That's why I can't put it on Nuno too much because, yeah, you can say the starting lineup. He should have put Souček and
he gave away the first half by playing the midfield that midfield's played before. That midfield played against Burton. It weren't good enough.
But we give away. But to miss those level of chances, it's on those players. It's criminal. It's criminal the chances that we miss.
Whoever's picked the team has cost us. I'm afraid. Like this, but this is the thing. This is the thing. Listen, you cannot prove what I'm saying. I can't prove it, right? But I've just got a feeling that them players, you'll see them 7 players are back in the squad on Friday, right? And if that's the case, then I can't believe that all of them are injured. I can't. And
no, but some of it's not injured. It's that he's coming back from injury.
I don't care. And put him on the bench, Dan. He's got to get fucking minutes. Like, if we go and waste an FA Cup game, right, a quarter-final at home, right, by not picking him because we want to pick him Friday, and he goes out there and in the first 10 minutes he breaks down, what's the fucking point? What's the point?
But yeah, it's true. But we still could have won that game.
Like these players, if they're fit, they're fit. Like you can put him on the bench. He might have been 10 minutes. He could have given us 10 minutes. 10 minutes could have changed the whole dynamic. So
yeah, well, like I said, we don't know, but we had multiple chances to win that game. We had chances on the pitch. We had penalties, right? Chance to win it. We took 2 shit penalties.
We only had 2 of the 5 penalty takers that we had in the last round.
Yeah, but Bowen was one of them, and he took a shit penalty. Yeah, that's what I mean. So we had chances to win that game, and we didn't take them. I think the players, right? Of course, and listen, and we've been on it. I'm not the biggest Nuno defender. I've criticised them a lot, but I think a lot of them players have to take a good look at themselves because it's an FA Cup quarter final, and a lot of them showed they weren't up for it until, like Ryan said, that 11 minutes went up, and you could see Leeds when they saw 11 minutes. I think it rattled them. I think it rattled them a bit.
And it deserved to be 11 minutes and all, because every fucking 5 seconds they was going down and holding their heads and holding their legs and all that sort of thing. Listen, it's it's the dark arts. Everyone does it. But I don't think it helps teams like Leeds like that. You know what I mean? Doing things like that. Because you're going to get that time added on. Now, if they'd have just played the game, I reckon they could have won that 2-0. They would have been back 4 minutes and we would have got back into it. It's just crazy. I think listen, I will say this. As much as I'm disappointed, I am proud of the fight that they showed in that last 10 minutes, that last after 90 minutes, because that was great, fantastic. And in extra time as well, I thought they was all, to a man, I thought they was all good. Kilman, the booing of Kilman, we've got to talk about this. Listen, I have observed Kilman a couple of times. I was down the front when he was warming up, and I was there at Burton as well. That man hasn't smiled in all the time I've seen him, never. And he's got to be suffering. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, listen, I will sit here and say he's not good enough. He ain't good enough. But it's not his fault, is it? Like, it's not his fault. He's not going out there purposely to try and fuck things up. It's just the way it's going for him. Listen, I know people are going to say 80 grand a week and all this sort of thing.
100 grand a week, 100.
Whatever he is. Yeah, he didn't choose his transfer fee. He had a fucking say in his wages. But he isn't going out there to try. I don't agree with the booing. I've got to say that. I don't agree with the booing of him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not out there to try and fucking sabotage us. He's just shit.
Yeah. I never agree with booing your own players. They're going on a pitch to try and do a job for you. And listen, he is crap at the moment. He's very crap. I don't think he was this bad. But and I remember when I said that a few years ago, and some people got the ump of me saying that. I just don't think it's productive to boo your own players. Well, you want them to do as good as you can, and booing them is only going to make them play worse and put more pressure on them.
Me and Ryan spoke on the phone earlier. The tackle was unforgivable. Like, you're trying to wipe out a player when the ball is there to be won. Go for the ball and you win the ball. Simple as that. I don't know what he's trying to do there. Like, how the fuck has he missed the ball? I don't know. You know,
He does it time and time again.
Time again, he does. Yeah, he does. And
he got away with the one earlier because the guy got the shot off already.
Yeah,
he'd got the shot off, and then then he took him out.
He's really struggling, and he needs to leave this football club for the fans' sake and for his own sake.
The thing is, this is the problem, right? We signed him on 40 odd mil, and he's on 100 grand a week. I don't know if there's going to be many suitors for him at this rate who's going to take his wages on and all of that. And he's on a big, he's got a lot of years left, is what I'm trying to say. I think he's got 5 years left or something on his deal. I think he signed him for a 7-year deal.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think he was about a 6-7 year deal, wasn't it, that he signed?
Yeah, I think it was about 7 we signed him on.
7 years.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's their little back in Lopetegui with that signing, and it's really shot us in the foot. So I don't know how we get rid of the guy, to be honest with you. It's going to be one of them ones where we loan him.
Listen, Christian Daly had similar problems at West Ham, and we went down to the Championship, and he became one of our better defenders, and scored the goals in the thingy. This ain't his level, I'm afraid, anymore. Like Kilman, and he's got to be realistic with himself. Listen, Reedy was the same when he first came. If you remember, Reedy couldn't. He was a terrible centre half in the Premier League. Went down to the Championship. I know Reedy's a bit younger, and he established himself there. So it might be the fact that
wasn't this bad at Wolves, though, was he? And even when we first signed him, he wasn't this bad. I think a lot of it, there's obviously something going on up there. He don't seem the brightest lad to start with. I don't think it's certainly a lack of ability, but his football IQ, I think, is low. But there's obviously a big confidence issue and something, because no one was talking about him like this at Wolves, like at all. When we signed him, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's a good signing." And then we got him, and then he looked okay for us.
I liked him at Wolves. I thought he was a good player at Wolves.
Yeah,
sometimes people don't suit clubs, and at this juncture, I think there's too much sort of water passed under the bridge. I don't think he's ever going to get back to what he was here, unless we go down and we need to keep him in the Championship. And this is, as I said, going back to what I was saying earlier, even if we don't go down, you look around this football club. It's the 2 goal scorers yesterday. There's fucking good odds that they ain't going to be here next year. So we're struggling now. Like, to get to Wembley at the semi-final at Wembley, it would be a little bit of a fucking, a soften the blow if we did go down. But I think there's dark days ahead for this football club, like darker than they are now.
The thing is, though, as me and Dan said yesterday, like, it could work in our favour, because now Leeds have to play. If they get through, they've got to play an FA Cup final a week before they play us final game of the season. Yeah. And if they're still in the relegation battle by that time, we know ourselves. Like, we remember back in 2006, few weeks before the end of the season, before the FA Cup final, players were pulling out of challenges, didn't want to get injured, weren't playing, because they all want to play in that final. So it could benefit us. We've got 7 games left now to turn our season round, keep us up, and then we just have to worry about next season when it happens. What's done is done now. We're out the FA Cup.
That's right.
It's a shame, and like, I would have loved to have been at Wembley, walking down Wembley Way with all the West Ham fans. Looking forward to a semi-final and maybe a final, but you can't. Leeds were a better team yesterday, and then it comes down to penalties. We've got a kid that's been chucked on in goal, done well. To be fair to him, he saved the first penalty. Captain Bowen's let him down. He could have took the pressure off of him, if he'd have put his penalty away. But this is what happens in football. But it's a lottery, isn't it, the penalty shootout? You can have the best players in the world. We've seen best players in the world miss. How many times we watch England lose the shootout over our years? We've seen the best miss. And it just comes down to pressure at the end of the day. And I'd love to be sitting here now saying, looking forward to Wembley in a couple of weeks, but we're not. And it's a shame. I am gutted, but listen, Friday night now, we move on. And we've got to beat Wolves. It's a big game now.
Hold up, Nick. Let me just read these super chats real quick. Ryan Chapman, 1 hour super chat. Thank you very much, Ryan. Pleasure to meet you earlier, Nicky, mate.
Yeah, pleasure, mate.
Today.
Thank you very much.
He
Lovely
bought
to
the
meet you.
Bobby. Said he was buying the Bobby Moore shirt.
Yeah, he
didn't
bought it. Yeah, I delivered it on the way down to. We went down to Gung Wolf Keys or whatever it's called. Yeah, brilliant.
Congrats, Ryan. Congrats. Hopefully, you'll have pride of place in your gaff. West Ham 68, £2 super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Friday is massive. Found his bracelet.
Yeah. Yeah, someone told me about it. So the geezer lost his bracelet as he was coming back into the stadium, and they found it. Fucking mad because they found it on the floor. That's crazy.
But yeah, Friday is massive. And listen, I hope that your theory that all 7 of those players will be back is true, because we need them.
We need them now. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm disappointed.
There's no way.
That. But what he hasn't got now, Dan, right? And I've got to say this: he hasn't got a buffer now. You know, there's no excuses. If they are back and we lose, I think there's going to be fucking riots. To be honest.
Yeah. You can't. You have to respond. You know, we had that awful game against Aston Villa. And we wanted to see us. We thought, you know what, we got the FA Cup next. It's a nice distraction, you know, and we turned up in that first half abysmally.
I think Ryan was right. I think Leeds were the better side over 90 minutes. I think we had them on the ropes. We had about a 10-minute spell where we went fucking mad. I think we were the better team in extra time. But I think overall in the game, I think they deserved to win it, you know. But it was, you know, it's one of them ones where, you look at them and then all of a sudden, it was a great cup tie, you know. I mean, even I forgot about this one as well when he, you know, in the first couple of minutes when he rolled it across, Areola made a great save, and then Bowen rolled one across to Tatty, and what a save that was by that goalkeeper. I didn't realise how good a save that fucking was, because that was point blank, and he was, you know, but it was a good cup tie. A good cup tie, you know. So
yeah, I think this weekend proved that the magic of the FA Cup is still alive, because you know, there's been some good games this weekend. Obviously, City battering Liverpool, Southampton beating Arsenal, probably a shock of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously Chelsea winning, 7-0 in the end. And our game yesterday was a good game of football for a neutral. They'd have loved sitting there watching that, you know. But yeah, it's just a shame that it's us on the end of the defeat, and I said yesterday, look, I wish Leeds all the best. When we get knocked out of a cup competition, unless it's against a London rival, I want the team to go on to win it, because I think at least we lost to the team that went on to win it. So whether Leeds will win it, I don't know. It's tough, you know. City are just looking on fire at the moment at the right time of the season. You know, they could end up winning, you know, 3 trophies. You know,
crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, you know, the Arsenal fucking wobble is I mean, it's legendary, isn't it? It's crazy, but they went out. They was on for winning a quadruple, and they went out in 2 competitions in a week.
Fingers crossed it continues. We don't usually do comments on this, but this is something I wanted to touch on there. I concerned over Bowen's form. He looks miles off it, and that's worrying with your running. Is he droppable at any point if it continues? Is he droppable? I don't know if he's droppable. If Traore plays like that continuously, and we have Summerfield back, then maybe he's droppable. I'm concerned about Bowen's form.
Everyone's droppable. The problem with Bowen at the moment is where he ain't scoring, he's standing out, and he is the captain as well, so that gets highlighted a bit more. But when you look at him yesterday, he didn't have the greatest of games, but he was still involved in a lot of what we've done. You know, you look at the first goal we scored. You know, he had a great shot. Another day that goes in off the post, and in. Lucky Fernandez was there. Great touch by Fernandez as well to control it at that speed. And then obviously you see in the second half when he has another shot and he hits the post, and then it lands back to Pablo. Once again, another great finish. Just unfortunately, he was offside. But I think Bowen's one of these players. You can't drop him. You need Bowen in your team, whether he's on form or not. I know it's like we haven't got good enough players to replace Bowen. I don't think we have.
The one thing I would say is this, right? I thought Traore was excellent yesterday. I thought some of the runs he made and some of the, I think, look, I don't think he's got the footballing brain to sort of take on an Arsenal or anything like that. But I think against them sort of lower teams, the strength, the pace he showed yesterday, he was getting in some really dangerous positions. And we need people.
He got an assist.
He got an assist, yeah, but we need people around him that can score goals. You know, Tatty's not that, But Bowen is, Bowen when he gets into good positions, and what he was doing yesterday, he was getting people into good positions. He was laying the ball off. He was that one where he turned and he run and he beat the player and then he running through the middle. I think coming into the middle is brilliant. If we can get people around him that can actually score goals, I think Tatty. I love Tatty. I really do love Tatty, but his goal scoring abilities they're fucking average at best. You know what I mean? Like,
do you know what I would try Somerville on the left, Bowen on the right, and then Bowen and Tatty up top in the two, because then you have someone that scored. Like right now, our best goal scorer is Somerville, right? Like you said, Bowen's still up there as a goal scorer, even though he's dry. So you put him there, and then you get in Traore on the right-hand side, and then, like you said, I think that could be.
I think the only thing I would say is about that is he's best when he picks that ball up on the centre circle, and he gets the time to turn and run at players. Sometimes he runs into dead ends, right? But
Bowen,
no, Traore, right?
Sometimes so where are you saying to put him then, if not on the right?
I think he's got to go on the wing. We've got to go on the wing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, on the right wing. Yeah,
you said up top. You said
no, I said Bowen and Tatty. No, Bowen and Tatty up top.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I agree with that. Then I thought you meant Bowen. Bowen and Traore.
No. But do you know what? Someone else. Yeah, go on, mate. Yeah, Kante as well. I thought was electric when he come on. He had a few near chances.
He was
the engine on him. And someone said, should he be ahead of Potts and Magassa? I mean, he should definitely be
head and shoulders, especially above Magassa. Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders.
Listen, honestly, I think I know you don't like Magassa, but Potts is our academy boy, but I think he was equally poor, like yesterday, if not worse. I mean, he couldn't hold on to anything. So I think at the moment, like Potts, since he's come back, I think has struggled when he's made appearances. Obviously, he had that sending off. And listen, I want Potts to succeed, but I just think maybe it's the case they can't play together. But Kante, he's everything you want to see. He's everything we've been crying out for. And look, he's going
to be excellent. I really do. Yeah. I think he's going to be superb.
Yeah, so he deserves a chance now in this league. I think if you are going to play a 3-man midfield and you want to play Souček, Fernandes, and then another midfielder, I would want to see Kante. I want to see how he would slot into that in that midfield.
I think he should have played. I've been calling for him to play ahead of Magassa every time Magassa started lately. I think he's head and shoulders above Magassa.
What about Potts, though? Because I think you're just singling out Magassa.
Pottsy weren't great, but I think Pottsy, again, has been sort of dealt a bad hand with the midfield that he's been put in with. I don't think it suits him. The thing
is, with Magassa,
just. I mean, you watched it yesterday. I was watching it. That was miles off the pace. Both of them. You can't afford to have both.
Yeah,
of them.
They was. But that's what I'm saying. Both like Magassa and Potts. We've seen them both put out some brilliant performances.
Potts
right?
is not a starter.
We've seen them both. What?
Potts is definitely not a starter at the moment.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We've seen both of them put out really good performances, and we've seen both of them put out really shit performances. It's the consistency that for both of them. So I know that some people say Potts is a championship player. Like, I'm not writing off either Potts or Magassa. I think they've both shown quality at times. We need that consistently. So right now, I think Kante, with the performances that he's had coming off the bench, should push himself higher in the pecking order and get some opportunities in the league for sure. I think, if we're going to play 2-man midfield, then bring him off the bench for maybe a Souček when his legs are going tired, and you bring on Kante, or play him with both of them if we're playing a 3-man midfield.
Well, Kante is your ideal replacement for Souček when he leaves.
Yeah.
So you want to sort of, I mean, Kante shouldn't be thrown in ideally now we'd love to be mid-table, season over, everyone on the beach, and you can give Kante a lot more time, but it'd be a lot of pressure to put on him, but I think he can handle it. I really do. You look at him, you look at the way he plays, with Magassa and Potts, I'm the same. I think they was both as bad as each other yesterday. I think that you have to get better players around them. I think if you start Magassa alongside Souček and Fernandes, he'll look a lot better. And vice versa. If you started Potts with them two, they'll look a lot better.
That's a very young midfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
Potts, Magassa and Fernandes, there's no experience in there.
No, that's right.
No, there's potential though. There is potential in them players, and I know you say about experience, but sometimes if you're good enough, you're ready. So, but I just don't think that they can play together, especially them two. And look, they're not bad players because they're playing in the Premier League. They've worked their way up to the play in the Premier League. So, but in saying that, I don't think Pablo's a Premier League player, and I just don't have Pablo. I don't get the hype around him. I don't see what he does. I really don't see what he does, and I know there's a lot of people that like him. I don't. I don't think he's good enough for this. But it's what we've got. So we haven't got much choice to play.
I mean, it's undeniable that when he come in with Tatty and we went for that 2 up top with him and Tatty, right, that we looked much better. However, it's not like I can point out all these things that Pablo did in those games. It was just for some reason that worked. And yesterday, again, like
someone just said there he causes chaos, and I get that, but 9 times out of 10 he's causing chaos amongst himself. I don't see what he offers. He's been, how many games has he played now? 14 games for us, 15 games. He hasn't scored. He was brought in to score goals. To striker,
even the penalty, like he had a chance to score in a penalty shootout, and he took one of the worst penalties you ever see.
Tatty for me has come in, and I know he's only scored 3 goals in 13, 14 games, but he does a lot more than what Pablo does. I'd rather have Tatty playing than Pablo. I don't know what he brings, and look, I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I hope that Pablo's got a massive moment in this season. If he scores 1 goal and it's a crucial goal, I'll take that.
Yeah,
100%. So listen, let's just hope Friday is a completely different result, and forget FA Cup quarterfinals. That's going to need to be an absolute cup final, a Champions League final. That is going to have to be against Wolves.
They're all cup finals now. What have we got? So we've got Wolves on Friday night, and then we play Palace away. Is that the next game after that? That's going to be a tough game. No, they're all tough games. Not worth sitting here like breaking them all down because they're all going to be tough. But we go again Friday, and listen, if we get them 3 points on Friday, chuck Spurs in the bottom 3, we get out, and then pressure's on them.
Yeah,
okay.
100%. That's all we've got to worry about now. So cup's done. We can sit here and whinge and moan about it all we like, but it is what it is. We
focus on the league.
We have to focus on the league now. But I've got to say this for Nuno. There's no more excuses. There's no more buffer. It's do or die now. You know what I mean? He's got a chance now to make up for what he's just done here, in my opinion, and fucking get ourselves out of this and fucking hopefully put Tottenham down. Because he's wasted enough opportunities. He's got no more opportunities to waste. He's got no buffer.
I'm just going to bring this up, right? So very harsh on Pablo, young lad playing in a different country, trying to adapt. I personally think he'll come good. I get that, but when you're saying personally trying to adapt, I think he's adapt to English lifestyle because you see the way he's off the pitch. I just don't think he's. Look, he might come good, but we need him to come good now. He's been brought in to score goals, and he hasn't scored goals. Any other striker would get criticised. So why can't we criticise Pablo?
The only thing
I think that's. I think you're both right. I'll do a Scott, right? You're right, he's right. Because at the same time, yes, like you sign a player, sometimes it takes time for them to adapt new country or that. However, like you're saying, when we're signing these players in the January transfer window and we are in a relegation battle and we're in the situation we're in now, it's not his fault. But we need, and we said this at the time, the signings that we have need to hit the ground running instantly. We said it at the time before the window, and we're saying it now. They needed to do it. So the fact that he's not done it,
I think
if he don't work out, I put the blame on. I put the blame on
him. I think his energy brought a lot of much needed energy to the team when it's just. We can play without him now.
To be fair, though, mate, when they were signed, we could have signed anyone. They'd have brought more energy to that team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But that's what we needed at the time. To say he hasn't hit the ground running, I think it's a bit harsh on him because when they came in, they made an instant impact.
He hasn't scored any goals, though.
No, he hasn't. He was injured. But I'm just saying, when the energy came in, they did make an impact. It's just sometimes when that impact comes in, it's what you need to get the rest of the team going. But now we can do without him. Do you know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's not a glowing endorsement, is it? With someone you've signed in January to make an impact and help you.
he did make an impact. He did make an impact.
Okay, well, yeah, him coming in, like I said, for that period, but we needed players to come in and make an impact for the rest of the season. Yeah, to help us for the rest of the season.
All right.
Listen, I'm like in between what Ryan's saying and what you're saying, but the thing is all those signings, we needed him to help us for the rest of the season. So if he's poor for the rest from now to the end of the season, then that gets judged. We can't just go, well, he was good for these first few games, then he got injured. We got to assess his whole time, and you got to weigh it up and look at it on balance.
We paid a lot of money for it, and I know the transfer fee ain't his fault, but the team he previously played for paid $300,000 for him, and then they end up sending him for 29 million a few months later. They must have fucking booted him on that plane to get him over here. And look, I'm not saying he's a bad player, and you're right. Sometimes it might take players a lot longer to settle into a club, but what we needed was someone to come in and score goals. Tatty scored 3 goals and Pablo scored none. Yeah. That's not good enough. We that's why we're still in the bottom 3, because we're not winning enough games and we're not killing off games. You just go look back at the Chelsea game. We can look back at moments over the last 10 games where we've drawn games where. But look, it's
the impact it had was it freed up Somerville, right? So having a runner like that, Somerville didn't have to be so deep, didn't have to pick up the ball. He could go and do what Somerville could do, and it created space and for Somerville. The thing is with Pablo, you could get anyone to do that. Yeah,
there's no denying that since them two come in and it did free up Somerville. That's why Somerville's been our best player for the last since probably January. He's been brilliant. And look, and as I said, look, I remember saying this before. And a few seasons ago about Yarmolenko, I said he will have one moment in this season and it will be massive. And I was right with Yarmolenko when he scored the win against Seville. And I think Pablo will have a massive moment. I really do, and I hope he does. And if he scores the winner against Wolves, then that's good enough for me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I ain't worried about what he's done in the previous 13 games. We'll start from Wolves.
100%.
Brilliant. Are we done?
Pablo is the new Hugo. I won't go that far. He ain't that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
I would say this, although he was about 4 fucking miles offside yesterday, the finish that he put in after Bowen at the post was a
brilliant finish. Even listen, we ain't even spoke about Tatty's other goal that was ruled out, the one when he hit on the half volley from about 25 yards, top corner.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, but that's you know what? That was the bloody thing, innit? That was the point where it was like that's the one time he did get it on bloody target, and it's like from distance then, and he couldn't do it all them other times. Well, point blank range, he couldn't do it. He couldn't get it when he was right in front of the goal. He couldn't get it on target. So funny old game.
I'm looking forward to Friday night. I'm going to the game. Looking forward to it under the lights. Huge game, and let's hope that we get them fucking 3 points and put Spurs in that bottom 3, because the pressure will be on them. They don't play till Sunday. They've got a tough game away to Sunderland, but all we can do, win our goals. Well, win our games, win our goals. That's me talking about fucking everyone scoring.
Yeah. Thank you to OK Jerseys for sponsoring the video. Go and scan the QR code or check out the website link down there. Use code Nicky10 for 10% off. That code is still active, is it? The Nicky 10?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Get yourself a £13.50 shirt. If you buy one or buy multiple, like I said, World Cup international shirts, all of that stuff, club shirts, retro, new. Go and check it out.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Sign up to the membership, because we'll be doing the draw. I think we'll be doing a Thursday night pint. We'll be doing the draw to win the signed Trevor Brookins shirt. Let me quickly get it. Let me quickly show it to the new people. The signed Trevor Brookins shirt. You sign up to the memberships, and you enter the raffle there. So the fan favorite. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You can see it now.
Yeah. Look, there it is. So you do the fan favorite tier, join that one, and you get 1 entry into the raffle. You join the cult hero tier, you get 2 entries into the raffle, and you join the legends tier, you get 3 entries into the raffle. Last time we done it, our legend Philip Demacoli won the signed Dixie shirt. He had so you have more chance basically. So do join, click the join button and sign up. And you are in the raffle, West Ham 68. I can see that you're a member. I can see the little thing next to your name. So if you got that little thing next to your name, you're in the raffle. So, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Let's relegate Leeds. I don't think so, mate.
Yeah, mate. I think you're looking for allies in the wrong place here, mate. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. As we said, go and check out all the fan cams the morning after the game, before the reaction from yesterday, and everything depending will be building up to the Wolves game on Friday night. Big game. So yeah, don't go away. Stick around. There's more content to come this week. But thank you very much for joining us. One thing left for us to say. Come on, yours.